Bitcoin in plain English.
Welcome back to Bitcoin in plain English.
Hey, it is really great to be back here with you.
Yeah, it's good to sit down again. So, today we have a really interesting topic for you guys. It sounds a little bit philosophical maybe, like a little heavy.
Yeah, maybe a little heavy, but it is important. It actually changes how you decide everything.
Right?
From what you buy at the store to how you spend your weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, where do we start?
Well, to get us started, I want to ask you a question. It is a simple question, but take a second to think about it.
Okay. I am ready. Lay it on me.
What is the most valuable thing you own?
The most valuable thing I own?
Yeah.
That is actually harder than I thought.
Take your time.
I mean, financially. Probably my apartment or maybe my car, even though it keeps breaking down. But if I'm being sentimental, maybe my laptop. It has all my photos and all my work on it.
Those are all great answers, and they cost a lot of money to replace. But today, I'm going to introduce you to a completely different way of measuring value. I want to talk about scarcity.
Scarcity. Okay, I know this word. It basically means hard to find, right? Exactly. Like when there are no tickets left for a concert.
Yes, exactly. It means there's a limited amount. But here is the hook for today's topic, and I want you to really think about this. In the entire universe, there are only two things that are absolutely scarce.
Wait, hold on a second. Only two things?
Only two.
In the whole universe?
That is right. Only two things.
That sounds like a massive exaggeration. I mean, come on. What about diamonds? What about platinum? Or what about a Picasso painting? There's only one of those.
Those are rare, but they are not absolutely scarce. Today we are going to prove that the only two things you can never ever make more of are time and Bitcoin.
Time and Bitcoin. Okay, that is a bold claim. I get time. We all feel that running out. But usually when people talk about scarce things, they talk about gold or land. You're saying those aren't actually scarce.
I am saying they're not absolutely scarce. There's a huge difference between hard to get and impossible to make more of.
Okay, I am intrigued. I'm a little skeptical, honestly, but I am intrigued. Let's unpack this. How do we actually define scarcity?
Let's start with a test. A simple test. Think about water. Is water scarce?
I would say yes, definitely.
Why is that?
Well, we hear about droughts in the news all the time. In some countries, people walk miles just to get water. So, yes, it is scarce.
I understand why you say that. It feels scarce. But here is the surprise. That is not a scarcity problem. That is a distribution problem.
A distribution problem? What do you mean by that?
Think about the planet Earth. It is mostly water. Oceans, lakes, ice caps. The water is there. The real problem is moving it to the right place and making it clean.
Okay, sure. But we cannot drink ocean water.
Not yet. But we have the technology. We have desalination plants that remove the salt. If you gave me $1 billion right now, could I get fresh water to the middle of the desert?
With $1 billion, yeah, probably. You could filter the ocean water and pump it there.
Exactly. If the price is high enough, we can create more clean water. We can use energy to solve the problem. Now compare that to time.
Okay, let's compare it.
If you gave me $1 billion, if you gave me $1 trillion, can I buy you an extra hour in your day? Can I make today 25 hours long?
No, definitely not.
Can you borrow next Tuesday and use it today?
No, that is impossible.
Exactly. That is the difference. Water is relatively scarce. It is hard to get, but we can produce more if we pay for it. But time, when today is gone, it is gone forever.
Gone forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
No technology, no government, and no amount of money can change that. That is absolute scarcity.
Okay, that makes sense. It is a physical limit. You literally cannot manufacture more time.
Right. Think of it like a ladder or a spectrum.
A scarcity spectrum.
Yes. At the bottom, you have things that are abundant, like air or sand. Then you move up to things that are relatively scarce.
Like what? What is in the middle?
Like diamonds, oil, or even real estate.
Wait, real estate. Let's talk about that. I live in Seoul. Everyone knows land in Seoul is scarce. They aren't making any more land in Gangnam.
That is true. They are making more land, but are they making more space?
Well, I guess they are building taller apartments.
Exactly. Imagine a small 5-story building in Gangnam. It has 10 apartments. It is scarce. But if the price goes high enough, what happens?
They knock it down and build a 50-story tower.
Right. Suddenly, that same piece of land has 100 apartments. They created more supply because the price was high. The scarcity was just an illusion.
I see. So relatively scarce means hard to get, but we can make more if we really want to.
Correct. Now let's talk about the big one, the king of scarcity, gold.
Okay, gold. This is where I have to challenge you.
Go for it.
Humans have used gold as money for 5,000 years specifically because it is rare. You cannot just build a gold tower. It is an element on the periodic table.
It is rare. I'm not denying that. But is it absolutely scarce? This is the gold myth.
Why is it a myth?
Let me give you a visual. If you took all the gold ever mined in human history, every ring, every bar, every coin, and melted it down, do you know how big that cube would be?
All the gold in history. It must be huge, like a mountain.
It would fit in a cube only 22 meters wide.
22 meters. That is it.
That is it.
That is like a small apartment building. That is tiny.
It was very small.
No.
That is why it is valuable. But here is the problem. Every year, miners dig up about 3,000 tons of new gold.
3,000 tons.
Yes, every single year. So the supply of gold increases by about 1.5% to 1.7% annually. It never stops growing.
Okay, but 1.5% is pretty small. It is not like they are doubling the amount of gold overnight.
It is small now. But do you know about asteroid 16 Psyche?
Asteroid 16 Psyche, is that like a rock in space?
It is an asteroid floating between Mars and Jupiter. NASA is studying it right now. Scientists estimate that it contains enough gold and precious metals to be worth $10 quintillion.
Wait, stop. Did you say quintillion? Is that a real number?
It is a real number. It is a one with 19 zeros. It is more money than exists in the entire global economy.
That is insane. $10 quintillion.
Now think about technology. Elon Musk, SpaceX, rocket ships. Imagine in 20 or 30 years, we figure out how to mine that asteroid. We bring back a mountain of gold.
Wow. If we bring back a mountain of gold, then gold isn't rare anymore.
Exactly. What happens to the price of your gold necklace?
It crashes. It becomes as cheap as aluminum.
Precisely. Gold is hard to get right now because it is deep underground. But it is not impossible to get more. As technology gets better, we will find more gold on the ocean floor or in space. So gold is not absolutely scarce.
Wow. That is a huge aha moment for me. I always thought gold was the limit. I thought it was the ultimate standard. But you were saying the supply can change based on technology.
The supply always changes. But now let's look at the only thing in the financial world that cannot change. Bitcoin.
Okay, so how is Bitcoin different? It is digital. Cannot you just copy and paste it?
No. Bitcoin has a hard cap written into its math. Do you know the magic number?
I do. It is 21 million.
Correct. 21 million. Not about 21 million. Exactly 21 million.
But wait, I have a question about this. New Bitcoin is created every day, right? Miners are running their computers right now earning Bitcoin.
Yes, but we know exactly when it will stop. This is thanks to something called the halving.
The halving. We hear this word a lot in the news. Can you explain it simply for everyone?
Sure. Think of it like a water tap. When Bitcoin started in 2009, the tap was wide open. Miners could earn 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes.
50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Wow, that is a lot of money today.
It is. But 4 years later, the code automatically tightened the tap. It got cut in half to 25. Then 4 years later, 12.5.
And where are we now?
Now, after the latest halving, it is down to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. Every 4 years, the supply gets tighter and tighter.
So it gets harder and harder to get new Bitcoin.
Exactly. This ensures that the supply will stop growing completely around the year 2140.
So after the year 2140, zero new Bitcoin.
Zero.
But here's the part I struggle with, and I think a lot of listeners struggle with this too. Bitcoin is just software, right? It is code.
Yes, it is open source code.
So what if the developers just change the code? What if they say, hey, 21 million isn't enough, let's make it 42 million. Cannot they just update the software?
That is the most important question you could ask. And the answer is, technically, they can write that code. Anyone can write it. But they cannot make people use it.
What do you mean?
They cannot force people.
Let me use an analogy. Imagine you own an apartment in Seoul.
Okay, I am imagining it. It is a nice apartment.
Now imagine a politician proposes a new law. The law says we are going to print 2 deeds for every apartment. So now a stranger owns half of your apartment and your value is cut in half.
That sounds terrible.
Would you vote for that law?
Of course not. Why would I vote to lose half my money? Exactly. Bitcoin is not run by one company. It is run by thousands of people all over the world who own Bitcoin and run the software. If a developer says, here is a new version of Bitcoin with 42 million coins, they're asking everyone to devalue their own money.
Ah, I see. It is like asking homeowners to vote to lower their own property value. No one would do it.
Precisely. They would just refuse to update the software. They would keep using the 21 million version. That is why the cap is safe. It is protected by the greed and self-interest of everyone involved.
That is really interesting. So it is not just math, it is game theory. People will not vote against themselves.
Exactly. And unlike gold, where we do not know how much is underground, anyone can verify Bitcoin's supply on a laptop instantly. It is the only mathematical scarcity in the universe.
Okay, so we have established the two things. Time is physically scarce. Bitcoin is mathematically scarce. Everything else, gold, oil, land, is just hard to get.
You have got it. And this is where the episode gets personal. We need to transition from money to your life.
Let's talk about time. You said earlier, when today is gone, it is gone forever.
It is a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
We act like we have forever. But do you know the average human lifespan in weeks?
In weeks. I've never thought about it in weeks. Maybe 5,000?
It is about 4,000 weeks. That is roughly 80 years.
4,000 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
When you say 80 years, it sounds long. But 4,000 weeks sounds, I do not know, countable. Like I could put marbles in a jar and watch them disappear.
It is short. And because it is short, every choice you make has a cost. If time were infinite, we could do everything. You could become a doctor and an astronaut and learn 10 languages. But because time is scarce, you have to choose.
And choosing one thing means giving up another.
Exactly. This introduces a very important economic concept called opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost. I remember this from school, but let's define it simply.
It is the price of a choice. It is the value of the thing you didn't do.
Can you give me a real-life example of that?
Sure. Let's say you spend 5 hours binge-watching Netflix on a Saturday.
Yeah.
What is the price of that?
Well, the monthly subscription is pretty cheap.
No. Do not think about money. Think about the time. The price is what you didn't do. Those 5 hours mean you did not go to the gym, you did not call your parents, you did not work on your side project.
Ouch. Yeah. When you put it that way, the price was the experience I missed.
Or think about staying in a job you dislike for 3 years because it is comfortable. The opportunity cost is 3 years of building a career you actually love.
That is a high price you are paying with your life.
You are. And here's a statistic that absolutely shocks me. The average person spends nearly 7 hours a day on screens. Phones, laptops, TV.
7 hours a day. That cannot be right. That is almost a full work day.
It is true. Do you know what that adds up to in a year?
I'm afraid to ask.
It is about 30 full days. A full month. Imagine waking up on January 1st and scrolling on your phone nonstop and not waking up until February 1st.
That is horrifying. A whole month of my life just gone.
It is. This is why understanding scarcity changes your behavior. When you realize your 4,000 weeks are running out, you stop wasting them.
You know, the source material has a really great example of this called the Korean lunch break test. I really like this one because it is so relatable, especially for us here.
Yes, let's walk through that. It illustrates opportunity cost perfectly.
Okay, so here is the scenario. You work in an office. You have exactly 1 hour for lunch, just 1 hour. That is your scarce resource. You have 3 options.
Option A, you run to the convenience store, the Pyeongchang. You grab a triangle kimbap, you run back and eat at your desk while scrolling through Instagram.
I have definitely done that. It feels productive because I am rushing. What is option B?
Option B, you walk to a nearby park, you eat a packed lunch you brought from home, and you read a book for 30 minutes.
That sounds much nicer. And option C?
Option C, you invite a mentor or a colleague you admire to lunch. You spend that hour asking them about their career and learning from them.
Okay, so in all 3 cases, I spent 1 hour. The time cost is the same.
Exactly. The time cost is identical, but the value you get back is totally different. Option A gives you almost nothing, maybe a little dopamine from Instagram. Option B gives you knowledge and peace. Option C might give you a promotion or a new career path.
This is how scarcity thinking changes things. If you think you have forever, option A is fine. You just think, oh, I will do the important stuff later. But if you know your time is scarce, you want to get the maximum value out of that hour.
Exactly. You stop trading your diamonds for dirt. And this leads us to the hell yes or no rule.
I love this rule. It is popular with successful people like Warren Buffett.
Yes. The idea is simple. Because your time is scarce, you cannot say yes to everything. If someone asks you to do something like go to a dinner or take a project, and your immediate reaction isn't hell yes, then you should say no.
That is hard to do. We want to be polite.
It is hard. But every time you say a polite yes to something boring, you are saying no to something amazing. You are protecting your scarce time.
That is a great lesson. Okay, so we have talked about time being scarce. and we talked about Bitcoin being scarce. How do we connect these two? Why are they related?
This is the final piece of the puzzle. Think about what money actually is.
Money is a way to buy things.
But how do you get money? You go to work. You trade your labor, your precious 4,000 weeks, to earn money. Money is just stored time.
Right. I trade my hours for a paycheck.
Now imagine you save that value in regular money, dollars or won. What did we learn about things that aren't absolutely scarce?
We learned that governments can print more of them.
Exactly. As we talked about last time, when they print more money, the value of your money goes down. It is like an ice cube melting. You worked hard for those hours, but the container you stored them in, the dollar or the won, is leaking.
That is a really depressing way to look at it. My hard work, my time is melting away.
It is. But if you save in Bitcoin, what are you doing?
I am saving in something that is absolutely scarce.
Right. It cannot be diluted. It cannot be printed. Nobody can vote to cut your value in half.
So you are storing your scarce time in something that respects its scarcity.
Exactly. That is the final takeaway. Time is scarce, so your money should be too.
I love that quote. Time is scarce, so your money should be too. It really connects the physics of the universe with our bank accounts.
It really does.
Okay, we have covered a lot of deep concepts today, from asteroids to lunch breaks. Before we go, let's make sure everyone understands the key terms. It is time for our vocabulary review.
Let's do it. I will give the definition, and we can use it in a sentence to make it stick.
Sounds good. First word, scarcity.
Scarcity means there is a limited amount of something, and you cannot create more just by wishing for it. For example, water scarcity is often a distribution problem, but time scarcity is absolute.
Nice. Next term, absolute scarcity.
This is the highest level of scarcity,
Yeah.
a limit that can never change no matter what technology we invent. For example, only time and Bitcoin have absolute scarcity. Everything else can be produced if the price is high enough.
Number 3, opportunity cost.
This is what you give up when you choose one thing over another, the price of the choice. For example, the opportunity cost of watching TV all weekend is the book you didn't read or the exercise you didn't get.
That is a good one to remember. Next up is stock to flow.
This is a ratio. It compares the total supply, which is the stock, to the new production, which is the flow. A high number means it is hard to make more. This helps us compare gold and Bitcoin. For example, gold has a high stock to flow, but Bitcoin's gets higher every 4 years.
And related to that, halving.
This is the event where the new supply of Bitcoin is cut in half. It happens every 4 years. For example, after the halving, miners earn less Bitcoin, making the supply tighter.
The big number, 21 million.
The maximum number of Bitcoin that will ever exist. For example, there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin, creating a hard cap on supply.
And finally, hard money.
Money that is hard to produce or inflate. For example, Bitcoin is the hardest money ever discovered because its supply is fixed by math.
Awesome review. So to recap today's episode,
We learned that we live in a world of abundance, so real scarcity is rare. Time and Bitcoin are the only two things that are absolutely scarce. Gold is great, but we can mine more of it, even from asteroids. But Bitcoin is fixed by math.
and because your time is limited, only 4,000 weeks, you need to treat it like a precious resource. Do not let it melt away in inflation, and do not let it melt away in mindless scrolling.
Perfectly said. Value your time and store it in something that lasts.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Bitcoin in Plain English, give us a like, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next one.
And remember, understanding Bitcoin is a journey, not a race. Take your time, keep learning, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.